It is 3 weeks and I'm still finding them everywhere. Today we're going to talk about Perler Beads Tiny Animals. I can't think of a pun. Oh well, let's go with the video. This was my first time doing perler beads, and so I've included some shots of me doing the ironing, and if you paid attention, you'll only see that I had problems with it. Now, I'm not going to say it's the perler beads' fault because I don't think it was. I think it was moi. I have never done them before. I even had to go out and get an iron because I haven't ironed stuff in years since I used to work at a grocery store and it used to make me wear a tie. Do you all remember when grocery stores used to have people who wore ties? Yeah, they did. Anyway, I had some trouble with these items, but let's go ahead and start out with the first part. They're pretty easy to put together. The set I got did not come with a pair of tweezers, but I bought a whole bunch of different sets, and so I opened one of the larger ones and pulled out a pair of tweezers. If you're going to work with perler beads, I really suggest you use a pair of tweezers. Trying to use your fingers is hard. You'll be putting stuff in place and then you'll... Oh crap, let me fix it. Ooh. So yeah, use tweezers. They're a lot better. It was quite imaginative, all of the little things that you can make out of them. And they were quite pretty and cute, especially given the limited palette that we had available. And they were fun. Now, the bad side. You need to know how to iron them right. You really, really, really need to know how to iron them right. And I don't think the instructions really cover how to do them very well. I had to Google it and watch some videos on the internet to try it. And one thing I found, and I'm going to give y'all a hint, only put one set of beads per platform. I tried to do 2 or more sets of beads on each plastic platform, and it doesn't work. When you go to iron them and you start ironing them, one side will start sticking to it, and then you go to iron the second part and it'll pull the paper, and the first one you iron will get pulled off the hooks when you're trying to do them. So only do one at a time on each plastic platform. Also, never leave it still, because if you leave it still, you end up with melted animals. And finally, when you're doing them, you got to make sure you fully melt enough that they stick together. I lost 2 or 3 animals by ironing them, thinking I had it done. I let them sit, and I go to pull off the piece of paper, and half the beads would come up and half would stay still. So then I'd have to try reassemble them and try to get them to match together, but because I was doing such a terrible job of ironing, some of them were already half melted, and I'd have to pull out more beads to fix the ones I already melted. But my main complaint is just the learning curve of learning how to iron with them. They are small, and if you have large hands, it might be a little bit hard on you, but that's what the tweezers are for. That and, getting rid of these hairs that you don't like after the estrogen gets rid of some of them. Anyway, those are perler tiny animals, and I thought that what I came out with, some of them were really pretty cute. I like the little woodpecker, and I put them on my shelf. I don't know what I'll do with them because you can't really put them on necklaces once you melt them, and they just sort of sit there. If you have kids who would like to do some crafts, I'm sure they'll enjoy them. Have any of y'all done perler beads? Do you like them? Do you like any of the off-brands? Let me know. Thank you. Hi, my name is Pip. My grandma works really hard on her videos, so you should like, subscribe, and comment. If not, you might get the teeth when I finally wake up. Bye.